Okay, I'm going to be doing a breakdown of the four agreements. The four agreements have changed my life in very, very subtle ways. Some of the things that I've learned from the four agreements has allowed me to stay in universal law. The best way to describe that is pretty much when you follow along with the four agreements and you take in what's being said. I would like to say good karma comes back to you. You know, what goes around comes around. I think the four agreements is a great way to receive good karma. So I'm going to go over each one and I'm going to talk about how much they've impacted me as a person, as a friend, in relationships, and so on. So let's talk about the first one, first agreement, which is an agreement that I stand on with everything. Like, I am huge on the first agreement, and that is being impeccable with your word. In other words, always stand on your word. Don't say you're going to do something or promise somebody something or commit to something when you know you can't. Speaking with integrity is important. When people don't trust in you or trust your word or trust what you say, they're not going to give you things. You're not going to be blessed with too much abundance because you're kind of going against universal law. You are not sticking to what you said you would do, which in turn, like I said, is not the best impression for anybody, whether that you're dating, whether you're a parent, whether you're in a relationship, whatever the case is. Always speak with integrity and always follow up on what you say. There have been tons of times where I would tell somebody I would want to go out, and then when the time comes, I'm just like, I don't really want to go out anymore. But I told them that I was coming out to hang with them. So I can't just renege on my word. When you do that, people don't trust you. People aren't going to invite you over anymore. They're just not. And you would look at that as a red flag too. Say only what you mean and mean what you say. If you don't believe it, if you know you're lying, just admit that you're lying. Always living your truth. Always living your truth. If you don't want to do something, you need to let people know that you don't want to do that thing. Don't beat around the bush. Don't lead anybody on. Just do what you feel and live in your truth, which is a huge thing when it comes to abundance and law of attraction. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about other people. This is a big one. We all love to gossip. It's fun. It's entertaining. But the more that you gossip about people, the more that you speak badly on other people, universal law, it comes right back to you. You don't want to be talked about in a bad way. You don't want to be gossiped about. As much as you might feel some kind of way about somebody, I would say just give them grace and keep moving with your life so that you can get good karma back. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. So all the toxicity, all the think pieces, and just talking shit, that's not going to attract the abundance that you think it will. Like I said, it's fun, it's entertaining, but it's not substantial. It's very negative. It puts you at a low vibration. And if you want to attract a better life, if you want to attract better things into your life, just ignore it. Ignore the bullshit and speak in the direction of truth and love and stay in that place. So the second one is to not take anything personally. And I know a lot of us will struggle with this. I know I struggle with this. I tend to take things personally, but you have to realize that people are only showing you the perception of their reality. So if someone is being rude to you or if somebody is being an asshole for no reason, you have to realize that that is just a perception of their reality. They're throwing things at you that they are personally going through. You can't really take that personally. I am in a few situations in my life where I feel some people don't like me for whatever reason, for no reason. Like, I like to see myself as nice. I say hi to everybody. I smile at everybody. I like to think I have good energy, but not everybody is in your boat, you know? Not everybody's perception of you is what you think it is. Some people really have underlying issues or insecurities that make them not like you. But once again, you have to give those people grace. You can't really talk about them. You can't really talk about people in a negative light. You just got to give them grace. You cannot control what other people do. When it comes to relationships and things like that, I've been in situations where I have been confused about like relationships failing, friendships failing, and you and another person can play a role in failed relationships and friendships, but you have to remember you can't control what anybody does. People are going to do what they want to do regardless. It says when you are immune to opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. That's so true. Don't worry about what people say about you. Lead with grace. What other people say or do is simply a projection of their reality. So don't take anything personally and definitely stand on that. The third agreement is to not make assumptions. This law can completely transform you by not making assumptions, whether that's in friendships, relationships, family. Don't assume the worst and don't make an ass out of you or me. Find courage to ask questions and express what you really want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. You can completely transform by not making assumptions about people, things, your future boss. Don't make assumptions about, especially negative assumptions about your career and where it is that you want to go in life. Keep having faith and believing in yourself and believing in your relationship, believing in your friendships. I think that's a very powerful law just to make sure that you are not causing yourself turmoil for no reason. It's completely ridiculous. You don't need that kind of drama in your life. Like I said, universal law. What goes around comes around. Karma. Put out good energy, get good energy in return. Don't feel like someone's always doing you dirty. Don't feel like you can't trust anybody. Don't feel like you have to be in a shell all the time. Don't feel like that. All you're going to be doing is making an ass out of you and me. All you're going to be doing is bringing negativity into your life for no reason at all. Anything that does happen to you, good or bad, you can always go back to the first two laws. That is being impeccable with your word, giving people grace, and not taking anything personally, because you can't control what anybody does to you. You can't control anything like that. So it's best to not assume and expect the worst. And if something does happen that you feel is not the best, give them grace and move on. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things to learn. Just try to stay on point with your self talk and talk about others, and I think you'll be good. I think good things will happen for you. I think you'll attract better things as soon as you start assuming the best, as soon as you start believing in yourself, believing in your relationships and friendships, and continue on going through life in an abundant way, believing that people do will do you good, believing that people will help you and give you the courage to be yourself and living your truth. I think I have an issue with this. I make assumptions about older people, about people who are like way older than me, because they're very conventional people and I'm the complete opposite. I'm very unconventional and I don't stick with the status quo, and I make assumptions about older people and assume that they wouldn't be interested in me as a person because I'm not conventional, or just will look at me like I'm crazy, or like I'm just a little outlandish, or I'm not super professional. I'm just myself, and that freaks people out, especially older people. So I try my best to stay myself, but if I can limit making assumptions about other people judging me, then I think that I would be golden. The last thing is to always do your best. Your best changes from moment to moment. Sometimes you're tired, sometimes you're not tired. All that matters is that you do your best. Whatever it is, do your best and share things with love and truth, like we talked about in the first agreement with being impeccable about your word. You will avoid self judgment, self abuse, and regret as soon as you give yourself grace for trying and doing what's best. Always do your best. Become the person you were meant to be with as little judgment as you can, because you could be doing amazing, but if you speak negatively on yourself, on other people, if you just half-ass things, good things come from putting your all in and doing your best at what it is that you're doing, being honest and living in your truth and standing by that, whatever that is to you. You don't have to be this outgoing person in the life of the party. You don't have to be that. All you have to do is be yourself and live in that. So those are the 4 laws. I hope this helped you guys out, and definitely read the book for more insight on attracting what you want and getting the best out of life.